As I told you, I became involved in this in 1975. In 1977, I went to Lebanon for the first time. I spent time in 2 camps, then unknown, but which later, in 1982, etched themselves into the Hall of Infamy, the camps of Sabra and Shatila. In these camps lived thousands and thousands of Palestinian refugees. Israel invaded Lebanon. They smashed their way through the south. They perched their artillery on a high hill and systematically reduced the Arab capital of Beirut to ash. The great English journalist Robert Fisk, then writing for the London Times, I remember it still, described something he saw there for the first time. Little children, Palestinian and Lebanese, in hospitals in West Beirut, their insides cooking, children baking from the insides, white smoke coming from their nose and mouth, burning inside, incinerating inside with the use of phosphorus gas fired by the Israeli armed forces on Lebanon. So disastrous was the assault on Beirut that the leaders of the Lebanese national movement called with heavy hearts and tears on their faces on President Arafat. I was there. They told him that the cost in human suffering was too great and that with a heavy heart they must ask the fighters of the Palestinian resistance to leave Beirut. Arafat agreed immediately and immediately concluded a deal with the American plenipotentiary Philip Habib, in which the Palestinian fighters agreed to leave Beirut with their weapons on board ships to sail thousands of miles to Tunisia, and in return the so-called international community agreed to protect their women and children and old people that they were leaving behind in the camps. No sooner had these ships left the harbor when General Ariel Sharon, long may he lie in his coma and suffer, the butcher of Beirut, Sharon, personally, he didn't order someone to do it. He did it himself. Brought gigantic searchlights to the perimeter of the camps to shine through the night as bright as day, so the fascist butchers of the Lebanese phalange could go from house to house, from shack to shack, bayoneting the women, children and old men that were left behind, killing thousands of them, leaving their bodies bloating in the sun in the camps for the next few days. The same Ariel Sharon that we were later told we must treat as a statesman, as a legitimate leader, whilst Arafat, who made the deal to save Lebanon, was blackguarded, was isolated, was insulted, and finally was murdered. That's the double standard. That's the injustice. The insult that's added to the injury is that in the Palestinians' case, the victim of terrorism is called the terrorist, and the terrorist state of Israel is called the legitimate government and the legitimate